They said the mole had to go. That little beauty mark above her lip, it's a flaw, agents told her. No one will put you on a magazine cover with that.
If my mole wrote its own autobiography. I went to a concert recently and we were late getting in, and we were trying to go in the back way, and the security people were like, you can't come in here. And the driver was like, no, I have Cindy Crawford, can we please come in? And he's like, let me see the mole. So I had to like slowly unroll the window and be like, it's me.
But Cindy Crawford refused to erase what made her different. And that choice didn't just launch a career where it rewrote the standards of beauty for an entire generation. She didn't come from Hollywood royalty, but she rose to become one of the most iconic supermodels in the 90s. This is the story of how a small-town girl with a so-called flaw became the most famous face in the world. It's hard to imagine now, but decades ago she was just Cynthia Ann Crawford. No flashing cameras, no designer gowns, just a small-town girl with big dreams and a heart shaped by loss. Cindy was born in 1966 in DeKalb, Illinois, a quiet Midwestern town of cornfields and close-knit neighborhoods, where life was simple and dreams were supposed to stay small. She was the second of 4 children in a hard-working, blue-collar family. Her father wired homes as an electrician. Her mother juggled jobs as a bank teller and homemaker. And Cindy learned early the value of discipline, humility, and grit. But childhood wasn't all carefree summers. When Cindy was just 10 years old, her world cracked open. Her younger brother, Jeffrey, only 3 at the time, was diagnosed with leukemia. For 2 years, the Crawford family fought to keep him alive, clinging to hope between hospital visits and whispered prayers. Cindy was old enough to understand what was happening, but too young to make sense of the unfairness. When Jeffrey passed away at just 5, the loss carved a permanent scar in her heart. Cindy later admitted that this tragedy changed her. It made her grow up fast. It gave her a quiet strength, the kind that comes from knowing life can turn upside down at any moment. And it taught her to chase what matters because nothing is guaranteed. Through the grief,
every sense is crystallized. But seeing how my mom just dealt with that, I feel like helped me learn to overcome, just to go on and to choose happiness.
Through the grief, Cindy stayed the kind of kid everyone knew would make something of herself. She threw herself into schoolwork, earning straight A's, and spent summers detasseling corn under the relentless Illinois sun, sweaty, muddy, and dreaming of something bigger, though she didn't yet know what that was. Then, one ordinary summer day at 16, fate intervened. A local newspaper photographer spotted Cindy while she was working and asked to take her picture. She didn't think much of it. But when that photograph appeared on the cover of the DeKalb Night Weekly, something shifted. Little did she know that single act would change her life forever.
Times didn't even get to see him, like his studio manager kind of was like, okay, thanks, you can leave now, whatever. But I kept chugging along. They kept calling me in, like they'd see something and I'd go in again. And they booked me. And I did learn so much from Victor. But if he hadn't pushed me out the door, I might have just stayed there and probably had a great life.
Well, that photograph lit the fuse. Suddenly, Cindy Crawford, the DeKalb High School honor student who spent summers knee-deep in cornfields, was getting calls from modeling scouts in Chicago. At first, she didn't take it too seriously. Modeling? It sounded like a fantasy. Cindy was practical. She had her heart set on Northwestern University, armed with a full academic scholarship to study chemical engineering. She wasn't chasing fame, she was chasing a degree. But every weekend she found herself hopping on buses to Chicago, walking into casting calls, and slowly learning an entirely new world. What struck people first was the mole, that famous beauty mark above her lip that early agents begged her to remove. It's a distraction, they said. It'll hold you back. Cindy refused. That tiny mark would soon become her trademark, the feature that made her instantly unforgettable. She would write about this later on in her memoir Becoming, where she got real about one of her earliest insecurities, the iconic mole that would one day set her apart. Back in school, it wasn't iconic at all. To the boys on the football team, it was just something to tease. Hey, little Crawford, you've got chocolate on your face. The taunt stung so much that Cindy even thought about having it removed, but what once felt like a flaw turned out to be her ultimate trademark. Proof that what makes you different can become the very thing that makes you unforgettable. By her senior year of high school, it was clear modeling wasn't just a side hustle. After becoming a finalist in Elite Model Management's prestigious Look of the Year contest, she signed with the agency and began building her portfolio, booking shoots in Chicago and getting her first real taste of the modeling world. But Cindy brought something different to the table, a rare mix of all-American relatability and high-fashion magnetism. She wasn't just a pretty face, she had a quiet confidence, a work ethic that came from her Midwestern roots. and a warmth that made everyone, from designers to photographers, fall a little bit in love with her. Balancing school and a burgeoning modeling career eventually became impossible. After just 1 quarter at Northwestern, Cindy made the toughest call of her life. She left college to pursue modeling full-time. It was a leap of faith, but it paid off. By the late 80s, Cindy's face was everywhere, on billboards, in glossy magazine spreads, and on the runways of New York, Paris, and Milan. She became known for her signature athletic figure, warm smile, and that unmistakable mole. The fashion world couldn't get enough, and with every booking, Cindy was rewriting the narrative, proving that a small-town girl could hold her own among the most glamorous women on earth, all without losing her sense of self. But this was only the beginning. By the early 90s, Cindy Crawford wasn't just a model. She was the supermodel. The face that launched 1,000 magazine covers, the woman whose name became shorthand for beauty itself. Fashion had seen famous models before, but Cindy was part of a seismic shift, one of the big 5 who ruled the decade. Naomi, Linda, Christy, Claudia, and Cindy. Together, they defined an era.
Honestly, I think the most important thing about aging gracefully is just being engaged, being active in your life, being happy, doing work that you love, or socializing in a way that you love. I think how you feel, that really shows on your face, especially as you get older.
Cindy's appeal was different. She wasn't icy or untouchable. She was radiant, athletic, warm, the girl next door who somehow also belonged on the world's most exclusive runways. That famous beauty mark, once called a flaw, became her crown jewel. In 1992, she turned a simple Pepsi commercial into pop culture history. Blue jean shorts, a white tank top, a gas station in the middle of nowhere, and Cindy Crawford stepping out of a red Lamborghini. No elaborate sets, no flashy effects, just Cindy.
Cindy, I'll get it.
In 30 seconds, she cemented her status as the ultimate American beauty. Her reach extended far beyond fashion. She graced over 500 magazine covers worldwide, hosted MTV's House of Style, and became a brand unto herself. For young women of the era, Cindy represented something revolutionary, beauty that was strong, healthy, and accessible. She also changed the industry from within. At a time when models were expected to be silent mannequins, Cindy used her platform to speak out about the business, about body image, about embracing what makes you different. Everywhere she went, Cindy Crawford was breaking the unspoken rules of modeling, and the world couldn't get enough. But just like everyone else, she faced her demons behind the scenes. For all the flashing cameras and cover shoots, Cindy Crawford's life wasn't always the glossy fairy tale it looked like. At the height of her fame, she was navigating the relentless pressures of an industry that never slept, an industry that measured worth in inches, pounds, and headlines. For years, every haircut, every relationship, every career move was dissected by tabloids. She learned quickly that the spotlight could warm you one day and burn you the next. Her highly publicized first marriage to actor Richard Gere put her under an even harsher glare. Cindy was only 25, balancing a skyrocketing career and a marriage constantly shadowed by rumors. There was a rumor that Cindy Crawford and Richard Gere were gay and that their marriage was a publicity stunt, and they eventually addressed it publicly. In May 1994, facing intense speculation in European tabloids, the couple placed a full-page ad in the Times of London declaring, "We are heterosexual and monogamous. Reports of a divorce are totally false. We remain very married. We both look forward to having a family." They divorced after 4 years, and Cindy later admitted she was still figuring out who she was, while the world was busy making her everyone else's ideal. But Cindy refused to be consumed by fame. She found her footing, both personally and professionally, by building a life that was hers alone. In 1998, she married businessman Rhonda Gerber, her longtime friend, and together they built a family away from the frenzy. They had 2 children, Presley and Kaya. And for Cindy, motherhood became her proudest title.
And we have,
You still like each other.
we do still like each other, but it's like, and we did consciously work on our marriage. Like, we always made sure we had time. Like, we would still do trips without the kids. Like, because we were like, we really feel like this is important to invest in the relationship. But like, now we actually have time. We like, for instance, we got a place in Miami, which is not somewhere that we spent time together or as a family. And, I actually, we live in Malibu. Mm-hmm. And our house is very far out. And especially since the fires, getting anywhere is just like a chore.
Yeah.
Even as she stepped back from the relentless pace of modeling, Cindy didn't disappear. She evolved. She launched her own skincare line, Meaningful Beauty, and became an advocate for childhood leukemia research in honor of her late brother Jeffrey. Through it all, Cindy stayed grounded. Fame had never been her goal. Impact was. Today, Cindy Crawford is more than a supermodel. She's a living symbol of a moment in time, a face that defined the 90s and still inspires decades later. She never set out to be an icon. She was just a girl from DeKalb, Illinois.
You learned, like, every experience is a lesson, right? Either what to do more of or what to do less of. And even in looking at those pictures, I mean, yes, her beautified everybody. So like being able to see that in yourself, I think was probably great. But also you might go, you know what, next time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start. And that's where we grow up, right? Like as making those choices. Like I did a lot of stuff. You know, I've done a ton of nude pictures. I've done Playboy. The only one I regret ever is the one I got talked into.
Oh, interesting.
Every other one, I knew what I was doing. Like I did Playboy with Herb. I did twice.
Who turned what others called a flaw into her greatest signature, who took every no and transformed it into a bigger yes. Cindy showed the world that beauty isn't about fitting in. It's about standing out and owning every part of who you are. Even now, long after her days of running from runway to runway, Cindy's legacy walks on. It's in the countless models she inspired. It's in her daughter Kaya carrying the torch into a new generation. It's in every young girl who looks in the mirror, sees something different, and dares to believe it might just be the thing that makes her unforgettable. Because Cindy Crawford didn't just change the face of fashion. She changed the conversation about what beauty could be. And that's the thing about true icons. They don't fade. They evolve. And they keep inspiring us to do the same. If stories like Cindy Crawford's inspire you, tales of icons who reshaped beauty, culture, and an entire generation, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Because the next legend, their story is just one click away.